Oh, man. Well, I hope it's not. It's good, y'all. Horse Racing Happy Hour hanging out with you on a Thursday edition of the program. Josh Rodriguez, Barry Spears alongside. We're talking Colonial this week as they will have the Virginia Derby this weekend. Virginia Oaks right before that, of course, doing lots of one-turn miles this weekend. It's almost like Aqueduct South. Josh, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, it was interesting to look at all these one-turn races here. I love the turf course at Colonial Downs. The dirt course, still in progress, I think, but should be a fun weekend.
Hopefully we'll figure it out together. Barry Spears spent the weekend with me in Los Angeles, and we still talk to one another. Barry, how are you?
Yeah, I was surprised that we were still on speaking terms, but yeah, everything's excellent, man. Loved it out there in Santa Anita, and I'm also glad to be back home and not in Colonial or at Colonial where it was snowing today. Couldn't handle that.
My man Carlos Morales breaking weather news. That's what we need in our lives. Is Carlos Morales just dominating the weather in Central Virginia? That's what.
I have to give him credit. I loved his Agentes 305 winter jacket. That was pretty sweet.
Oh, he's crushing, dude. Look, there are levels of horse racing podcasting, and then there's Carlos. And it's just, it's a different thing. It's all, we all want to keep up, but we can't. We're presented today, by the way, by our friends at Stockton Mortgage, hanging out with us throughout the Derby Trail, getting you ready for the Kentucky Derby that first Saturday in May. I can announce today that if you've been to the seminar before at Blind Squirrel, we're going to be back there this year, Tuesday night of Derby week. We've got our usual spot on the second floor there at Blind Squirrel. Would love to see you once again. If you happen to be in Louisville that week, cost you nothing, dinner's free, drinks are on me, not kidding, open bar. So come on by and hang out with Louis at a Derby prep. A Derby seminar, I should say. Blood Horse will be there, lots of giveaways, and whichever ADW decides to attach themselves to it this year, I'm sure will be very happy that they did. But Colonial pick six here, the 50-cent pick six traditional non-jackpot, I should say. I like it a lot, Barry. You down with that?
Yeah, it's always good to take swings on big days because there's going to be a lot of money in the pool. Hopefully there's a carryover, but I don't think so. But hey, here's for hope.
Leading into the day, you mean? Yeah, right. No, that would be great. Josh, I'm kind of the mind, man. Don't give me the 20 cents with a jackpot. Give me 50 cents and make me work for it.
Yeah, I think 50 cents. I think it makes it much more approachable for people. Yeah. Even the $1 pick six gets really expensive, especially if you get some big fields. $2 is near impossible on a budget that I'm playing on. But yeah, I like the 50 cents.
Yeah, no, in the traditional pick six, give me all of it. Take those jackpots out of our game, please. Would be a very nice thing. You don't need to introduce more of them. That's all I'll say about that. Barry Spears, Josh Rodriguez. My name's Louis Robeau. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. I wanted to ask you guys to this point if you had Derby favorite to this point. It's been kind of, I don't know, I think a mixed bag of results from a lot of the different preps, Josh, throughout this year. Of course, we were out to see Potente last weekend in the Santa Anita Derby, and I'll be really clear about him. Only his second race, Josh. I have no idea what's on the table for him moving forward, but if more distance is part of it, he might be just fine, especially out west in that group. Anybody stand out to you, though, so far? Maybe a Paladin or someone like that?
I thought Paladin really surprised me last time he ran out. I was definitely against when he ran last time, and he proved me wrong. He looked really, really good. Obviously, you look at the breeding on him. I think he's going to like that. I think a horse like Silent Tactic, I think, is going to get better with more distance there. So those are the two that I'm kind of most interested in. Although honestly, I know the rule is never fall in love with the Tampa Bay Derby winner. But the Puma looked pretty interesting last weekend. So
I was fascinated by Canaletto in that race moving forward. Maybe not as a Derby horse, but maybe as a pick off the Preakness kind of thing. Barry, where are you at with this?
See, and this just goes to show you what kind of year it is. I like Further Ado.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah.
and Chief Wallaby is the other horse that
I like him a lot.
Quite a bit. He ran pretty good, even though he lost to Commandment. I think that was just a factor of experience more than anything else.
Yeah, it's interesting these different years, Josh, where those of us who play don't mind a mixed bag of horses coming into the Derby, right? We so often want that star coming in, whether it's a journalism and a sovereignty last year, whatever it might be. I'm totally down if we've got like a star or two and then 18 like live shooters in this thing for sure.
Yeah, and it's different now too, right? Before you would see these horses run in all 3 of the preps or 2 out of the 3 of the preps, right? And you'd see these horses longer, but really now you have no clue really until those last preps are run. You know, I mean, who knows what the heck is going to get unleashed that last set of preps? You know, we see some of these horses now come in with 1 or 2 starts, and then they're like, all right, we're going to go for a 100-point prep and see what happens. And, you know, I'm sure we're going to get a couple of surprises here in the next couple of weeks.
No, I think that's exactly right. Let's go ahead and start some handicapping. We'll start with race 5 there, Saturday at Colonial. Everything's $100,000 except for the last race, which is $85,000 or more. The Royal New Kent is race 5, a mile on the dirt here, 4 and up in this one. And we go to Barry first for this one. A horse I saw a couple years ago win the Indiana Derby over Grade 1 winner Stronghold, by the way, is Dragoon Guard. Hasn't been quite the same since then. And boy, he's only 1 win without Lasix, and that was in the Indiana Derby. We're going to try to beat him here, Barry?
I really want to, but I think this field shaped up so poorly that there really is no other direction to go. I mean, there is that possibility that the pace gets hot up front and he won't like it. And the only other horse I could see that would pick up pieces like that would be Tour Player.
I agree.
Those are really the only 2 horses I kind of settled in on. I kind of like the Japanese horse a little bit, but I'm not really sure what they want to do with this horse. He's been running way longer and doing a lot of different things, and you have some speed on the inside with Rolando. So I think this pace may get hot, and it kind of sets up for those outside horses.
Yeah, Kamoro Bine Omodia won the Stymie last time at Aqueduct, and it was first time in the Rob Atras barn. He's kept this horse since then. I do wonder, Barry, if Rob just thinks he's a one-turn miler, right? If he's just going to try to pick off spots either at Aqueduct or eventually to Belmont, even at Saratoga, whatever, but pop in for races like this. I wonder if they do think there's something there. Are we trying to beat the favorite, Josh?
You know, I'm definitely using it's just tough because you look at the figures, even though they were losing efforts. I mean, they're just much faster than what a lot of these horses have run off Lasix. And I think you mentioned the only other horse that, you know, is in the same ballpark in Comorbino, Amoy, the 2 there. Yeah. And, you know, this is a horse that's taken the banishing route, apparently, where they don't know what distance, but it doesn't matter because the horse shows up. It doesn't matter if it's 6 furlongs or a mile and 1/8 or anything between. But you know, you look at a couple of those back figures. I mean, you look at last year's Steve Sexton Mile. I mean, if he can get back to that, which was also run off of Lasix, right? I mean, he totally fits in here. I'll tell you, I think I've seen enough of horses like Tour Player. You know, first time off Lasix, that horse regressed a ton. So I think at least the 2 has shown a little bit of ability off Lasix, and the 6, while the 6 is only won once off Lasix, Dragoon Guard, I think the figures are too hard to ignore there.
Dragoon Guard, of course, trained by Brad Cox, Irad Ortiz in to ride him. I'm interested in Rolando, the only horse that has experience at the track, by the way. 1 for 1 is that horse running this distance, by the way. That was in a similar stakes in August. And so interested to see if that horse takes to the track again, or if the snow makes Colonial different enough that perhaps it doesn't quite work out. The Sandy Bottom is divided into 2 divisions this year. Race 6, the first of those. What would you guys rather have, 1 race with 14 horses or 2 races with 7, Barry?
Easy decision. 1 race, 14. Let's go.
Could not agree more. Josh, are you the same?
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you kind of look at these 2 divisions. Right. I feel like one is a little bit more stacked than the other. It would have been interesting, I think, to see all the horses in the same run.
My sense is it is the first one that is a little bit more stacked for you, young Josh. You get to go first here. Who'd you land on in the first version of the Sandy Bottom?
Yeah, I actually really like the 1 Passage East in this spot. Sheldon Russell is riding here for Hugh McMahon. And, you know, this is the horse that went off Lasix for, I believe, the first time last time out and absolutely just popped. You know, I mean, ran a 93 buyer in that effort. And if you can get 7 furlongs a mile, shouldn't be too big of a difference. And this is just a horse that's just kind of step forward. And I think it is going to be coming into this race with obviously off of a nice stakes win. The only other horse I was interested in was on the outside horse, the 7, Her Laugh. I thought was an interesting horse that was another one that's just after switching barns and coming into Riley Mott's barn, just took that huge step forward and has been making these incremental increases each time out. We're going to get a little bit extra distance coming in off of 3 straight Bullet Works and gets Johnny V, which is never a bad thing when there's any type of big time race. So I like the 1 and the 7 in this spot.
Yeah, the 7, Her Laugh, did win on first asking against winners in the Untappable Stakes, go to mile 70 for Fairgrounds. Yes, a 2-turn mile there, but essentially the same distance there. Barry, where'd you land in race 7 here?
It's funny because
race 6, sorry, yeah.
Myself and Josh have landed on totally different horses. I'm totally against the inside horse, the 1, the favorite there, Passage East. Okay. I think there's a lot of question marks with that horse. The distance, I'm not sold that this horse wants to go this far. And the rail draw, you know how I feel about that. There's enough speed in here with a horse like Running Away that could make things a little bit problematic for Passage East. I know he probably isn't going to want the lead, but he'll have to get out of there because Zadorsky isn't as bad as the morning line suggests. And I think they may, in fact, line up across and have some speed with Amalfi Drive in there. And it kind of sets up for a bit of a closer. I kind of like Brown Sugar in this spot. I know they have that bad race at Parks, but if you throw that one out, this horse has been running in good races against good horses, lost to Destino de Oro on the turf, which I don't really believe that this horse really wants to turf. Okay. And then last time lost to Miss Marinelle. These are pretty good horses. Lost to Classic Q. Second time out. This horse has some speed and can run. I'm guessing Flavian's going to get this horse into the race a little bit sooner, not so far back like they've been the last couple of times. Looks to be training forwardly. I think at 8-1, this horse is looking really good. And the other one is Chaston, the 6. Yeah. Kind of for the same reasons, is kind of the hot horse, I think. I just want to see Irad get up close or closer than they have been.
I was just gonna ask you, how is she gonna be able to close into this pace like that from further back, or is she gonna have to be closer? And your answer,
I think so. This is a pretty big drop in class, honestly. If you look at the horses that this horse has been running against, you have Simply Joking in there, Bless the Broken. Disco Rules, Liam in the Dust. I mean, these horses would be really, really tough in this spot. And this is a bit of class relief, even though they haven't been running in stake races often.
We saw Chasen not run until November 24 of her 2-year-old year. She did break her maiden in one of those high-level races at Churchill Downs on one of the 2-year-old Futures days. Ran back in the Silver Bullet day. After that, we have not seen her in stakes company since. Moving on to race 7 with Josh Rodriguez from the On the Wrong League podcast and my friend Barry Spears, who you see way too often alongside me. I'm Louis Ramone. This is the Horse Racing Happy Hour presented by Stockton Mortgage. Go check them out if you need to refinance or if you're looking for a home all up and down the middle part of the country. Our friends at Stockton Mortgage, appreciate him hanging out with us. Time for the second division of the Sandy Bottom. Another mile on the dirt here. Fillies and Mares forward up 100K on the line here, Barry. I'm interested in Runaway Diva in race 7 here as part of this field. I think she's an interesting one. Julien Leparoux picks up for Michelle Hemingway. This is one we saw in the Wayward last out at Tampa, going 2 turns, but before that does have a win, a pair of wins actually at Colonial, 2 of them at the distance. Who'd you land on in race 7?
I landed on the 3, Think Fast. I love horses like this that come off the bench running. They were off a layoff from November 29th to February 4th. Ran a really good race in a race they should have won, and they did. That's, to me, spells improvement. And this race isn't all that strong, at least not as strong as the last one. And the favorite here is a little bit shaky. I'm not really sure how classy that horse is. Ran good at Tampa since the barn switch. So I imagine this horse is going to be on the engine, but I think Runaway Diva, the 7, will be glued to that horse's hip. and it kind of opens it up to have Think Fast fall into a really great trip. 6-1 is a really good number here. I doubt we'll get that. I think this horse might end up going off second choice.
Josh, Conch Fried Rice will break from the 4. Would you try Conch Fried Rice? Because I would.
I think. Oh yeah, it sounds delicious.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as the fried rice. Where'd you land on this one?
I think the interesting part of this race is the 4. You have to make a decision. Do you believe the last number, or do you not? Right. If you believe the last number, everyone's running for second, and I think I'm going to pay to find out. Especially if we get a little bit of a price there on the 4 Conch Fried Rice. But I have her as my second choice. My top choice is actually the inside horse, the 1 Queen Azteca here. Rudy Brissett trained here for a horse that has been kind of going longer every time. And we've seen these sharp Aztecas, they've run really well in these kind of route distances, these 1-turn distances. So I actually really like the fact that this horse is cutting back, coming to 1 turn, is obviously a tactical horse. We've seen this horse come from off of it and be close to it. So I think is going to have, have his choice on what he's going to do. Gets Christian Torres, who's a really underrated jock in my opinion here. I really, there's lots to like, I think, for the 1 Queen Azteca. Obviously, we talked about the 4 a little bit. I mean, I don't know what to do with the 6. I mean, the 6 is going to be super short. Obviously last time, came up a little short when off Lasix. So was it the Lasix? Was it the distance? Is the cutback going to be good?
2 turns, yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's going to be a short price. So I have the horses and include for a horizontal type thing, but I have it as my 3rd choice in here. So there's probably not a ton of value going with a horse like the 6.
Barry, is Eumonia the 6 here, the 6-5 kind of favorite to play against in this whole sequence?
Well, if you ask me that on any day, I'm going to say yes. But it's tough, this race, because I can see versions of this race where the 6 gets a really easy lead and kind of skates home, and you can't ignore that, especially getting Pratt, who's a really good judge of pace. But I thought if the 3 could fall into that trip we were talking about and maybe get Sultry last to kind of push the 6 a little bit, I think the 3 has a lot of upside and will probably be a decent price.
Enough Sandy Bottoms.
Better than the favorite.
Enough Sandy Bottoms. Let's get to the Oaks Trail. 50 points on the line in the Virginia Oaks. $250,000 as well. We're going 8.5 furlongs, a mile and a 16th over the 1 turn there at Colonial. Obviously 3-year-old fillies in here, Josh. You go first in this one. I love seeing Dazzling Damon here. Ironically, so do you. What do you like about her?
I look through this field and I see you got a couple of maiden breakers or heck, even maidens in this race. And then, a Bob Baffert coming from Sunland. If we want to talk about just horses to bet against at a short price, that's the type of horse I'll take a shot against. So I ended up on the 1 Dazzling Dame, has been working really well here. Once again, it's another kind of tactical type, has sat just off of a faster pace, like in the Pocahontas where she finished 4th, or has gone wire to wire, where last time at Aqueduct ended up winning by 11.5 lengths and just knocking everyone off their feet there. Now, once again, winner Aqueduct figures, might as well be rainbows sometimes. So it's tough to tell if that's a real number or not. But that Delaware figure at least fits.
I was going to say she backed it up, yeah, right.
So yeah, I think I'm just going to take a shot with this 1 Dazzling Dame. It's going to be my single. It's going to be kind of what I'm going to be keying my day around. I think my friend Mr. Barry Spears is going to disagree with me very strongly here.
Oh yes.
I wanted to point out, by the way, that this part of this is why we love horse racing, is that 2 bros can just say, you're an idiot about this, and the other guy could say you're an idiot about this, and then you go get a beer and watch the next race. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
absolutely.
Barry, who'd you land on the Oaks, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give the stamp of approval on Bottom Rouge here. This horse really has been keeping outstanding company. You see the only race that she didn't run all that well was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. Lost to Super Corridor and Explorer, Percy's Bar. Any one of those horses would be probably odds on in this spot and would push Bottle Rouge to the second choice. But I think this horse is just getting started. I think the 1 turn miles right up this horse's alley. There's really not much in this field. If, Dazzling Dame might be okay if they can just get away, but I really don't think they'd be able to, because Bottled Rouge is awfully quick. If Cadabra gets out there too, then it's a party, and I think that sets it up even more for Bottled Rouge. So that's the horse I'm leaning on. I would give Hit Parade a second look and just toss that last race. Didn't really have a great trip, was a little bit wide, and I think the 1 turn mile fits this horse a lot better than going 2 turns at Oaklawn. So that makes a lot of sense to me, but they're both going to be short prices. And this is just one, I think, obviously, I think Bottle Rouge is the most likely winner on the card. So
okay. Wow.
I'm going to, when we go back over some plays later, I like this horse a lot to start and finish some bets.
Barry's best bet on the day here in race 8 will be, in fact, Bottle of Rouge. I was going to ask you about Hit Parade, Josh, and Barry walked through that a little bit, started her career on the turf, but I remember talking to Brad Cox about her, and he essentially said that's where we could get her in. That was the condition that fit. So we slapped her in that race, and kind of went nowhere. Did finish a decent third, got a check at least, but they move her to Churchill. They move her to a maiden 50 of all things. And she goes ahead and wins that thing. She's allowed to go into, starter allowance kind of company. And then they move her up to the Untappable. She does the darn thing under Luis Saez. What do you make of Hit Parade? This is a daughter of a Derby winner in Street Sense. She's been good at Churchill Downs. I mean, they got to be thinking, just get through this race and get back to Churchill, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. What happened that last race, right?
That's
I mean, you saw a huge regression that last race where they went 1 mile and 16th. They're going to be going to 1 mile and 16th here again. Maybe they think, hey, we're cutting back to 1 turn here like we were running at Churchill. Maybe this is going to be, a little bit better for us. But even so, I think you still need a pretty big jump forward from those races last year to catch up to here. But I'll tell you, I've bet against many slow Brad Cox horses, including in last year's Oaks, and that came back to bite me. Where last year I was like, "Oh, his horse is too slow," and she made me look foolish. So,
all right, it is time to talk Derby, and young Barry Spears. Do you know what the Virginia State motto is?
Virginia is for lovers.
That is correct. And on this show, we love to play buy or sell. If you think a horse in the Derby can win you, it is Virginia is for lovers. And if not, Virginia is for haters. All right, so here we go. We'll play Virginia is for lovers, Virginia is for haters on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Yet another very special thing that I'm sure Stockton Mortgage wants to be affiliated with. We're going 1 mile and 1/8 on the dirt course there at Colonial Downs. $500,000 on the line. 3-year-olds running in this one. A spot in the Derby on the line. Butane makes the trip from the West Coast. Barry, we will go to you first here. Butane, lover, hater?
Hater.
Oh,
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a horse that can get 1.25 miles, honestly.
Okay.
At least not yet. Right. I haven't seen it.
How about for this race?
For this race? No, I don't like this horse here either. I hate the 1 draw, and I don't think this horse is as good as the Reputation.
Okay. All right. Josh, lovers or haters here?
Oh, I hate this horse. I want to know. This is, this horse is this is going to be a Pat Day Mile type horse, I think.
Okay. Yes. I could see that.
Okay. I suggested Brad Cox run one of his fillies in the Pat Day Mile, and he told me to just stick to radio. It was pretty good. I got the old shut up and dribble. Grittiness will break from the 2. The name Pletcher is next to this horse, which makes me look twice. It also ran in the Withers, Josh, to no avail. Grittiness. I don't think of you as a very gritty guy, but we'll move on from that.
He is, though.
Is he, though?
He is.
I mean, these jazz guys, they kind of they hang out in those neighborhoods.
Hey, you don't know what happens at 2 a.m. after a jazz or reggae gig, man?
That part's people get stabbed. What is all this stuff in the bathroom?
That's right. The 2 grittiness, no, not for me. I'm a hater on this one.
All right, Barry, grittiness.
Yeah, I'm hater of the year on this one. No, thank you.
Yet to break his maiden has tried the mile twice. Best finish was in a maiden special, go second behind Courting, who's not a bad horse himself, but probably not good enough in this field. Epic Desire will break from the 3. We last saw this one in the Sam F. Davis, but wait, up the track, broke his maiden. Before that, at Tampa, Josh, Sheldon Russell rides this one. Sammy Camacho had the ride last time. What say you about this one, lover or hater?
Oh, I'm a hater on this one too. Didn't really run that well at the Sam F. Davis. Like I said, these are all real nice horses I would love to own. But this one I don't think is with the rest of the horses.
Uncle Mo, Giant Gizmo on the damn side. What you know about Giant Gizmo? Barry, lovers or haters?
I wish they would just put this horse back on the turf. Honestly, you don't need this horse on the dirt.
Epic Desire,
ultimate hater, just hater of the year again.
He's going to go home and put some water in your mom's dish. All right, Work is up next. Breaking from the 4, Doug O'Neill brings this one in off of a 6.5 furlong turf sprint because he's Doug O'Neill. Barry, lover or hater? I'll go ahead and do this. This is for me. This is just some Doug O'Neill mischief. I'm always in the mood for Doug O'Neill mischief. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic for horse racing. I don't think the horse has any chance here, but I love it. Barry, what do you got?
I need an old school flip phone for this one. Because we're hanging up on that. No thank you. It's terrible.
Josh, what you got on? What's the line by the time this one gets to the gate? What are we paying to watch to get this horse to win? What's the number? 70-1, even in this field?
I mean, yeah, maybe probably. I don't know if I've ever bet a 70-1 horse at with any type of like actual seriousness, but yeah, I don't know. I think if this horse was anything, we would have seen this horse at Turfway.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're
right about that. Yeah, you're right about that. So Work, not going to work for us. High Camp 9-2 on the morning line. Johnny V and Will Walden. This one broke its maiden going 7 at Gulfstream. Josh, what do you make of him?
Love it. Finally a horse I can say I love. This is my top choice in this race.
Okay.
I love seeing these lightly raised horses showing up in these mid-level preps. William Walden gets Johnny V to come and ride this one again. I mean, you look at the trainers in this race. I mean, these guys, Johnny V would ride for any of them. So the fact he ends up here on a horse he's ridden a couple of times, love to see that. And I saw the Instagram on top, and I was like, I'm sure all his progeny are just winning at sprints, right? Instagram was a flash in the pan, was a really, really, came out and then kind of fizzled a little bit. But you look, his progeny are 20% routing on the dirt, which is just a gaudy number with the amount of horses that Instagrams have been out there running. So I think that this is a horse that's just going to get better with distance. Uncle Mo on the bottom. So, sure. I mean, I think this horse takes a step forward, and this is my top pick in this race.
Awesome. High Camp for you, Barry.
Finally, myself and Josh agree. I like High Camp here. I am definitely not a hater. I'm a lover of that one. There's a lot of upside there. And I think the stretch out makes a lot of sense. This horse is training well coming into this race. And we'll see. I mean, it's tough when they're just breaking the maiden and you see them in stakes company like this. It's always kind of a crapshoot, but I think this horse has run 2 really solid races, and there's a lot of upside here. So at a price, I like High Camp.
What's that threshold for you? 4-1, 7-2?
Yeah, 4-1.
4-1. Okay. All right. Okay. The 6 is Lock, Stock, and Pharaoh, which is not just a great name. It's also a horse that's performed pretty well in his first 2 races, 2 for 2. Both of those at the aforementioned Turfway Park, Barry. Son of American Pharaoh here. Nyquist on the damn side. If you wanted to win the Derby, I guess 15 and 16 is an okay way to go. What say you about Lock, Stock, and Pharaoh?
I like this horse, but not on the dirt. I would love to see this horse run on the turf. I think they're eventually going to get there. Once they get thumped on Saturday in this race, I think they're going to go to the turf, but we'll see. I think there is some upside here. I don't love this horse and I don't hate this horse. I guess I'm somewhere in the middle.
I would have loved to have seen this one in the Ruby, but I understand trying to push up the speed here. Josh, I saw your reaction. I imagine you agree with me on this one. What do you say about Lock, Stock, and Pharaoh?
Yeah, I would have thought the same thing. And, especially with this horse, I mean, well, this horse is one from off and on the pace, but
oh yeah,
at Turfway, man, once it starts getting warm and those rubber tires get a little hot down there, speed just tends to carry. So I would have thought that this horse would have loved to try and run the Ruby and try and take them wire to wire. So interesting why they came here, but yeah, not for me on the dirt.
I think they're trying to find out, and I think what Barry said is accurate. That if it doesn't work here, he runs in a decent race at Keeneland on the turf. Like those Pharaohs do really well on the turf, and so I would not be surprised if that's the next step for him. We're going horse by horse. Virginia's for lovers, Virginia's for haters here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Josh Rodriguez and Louis Rabot. Incredible, the winner of the Street Sense. Last year's winner of the Street Sense, of course, was Sovereignty, breaking his maiden in that race before going on to winning the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont Stakes, and the Travers Stakes. Incredible, though, in the Holy Bull, ran about as well as I did, Josh. Where do you land on Incredible?
At first look, I was an absolute hater on this horse, but that last race was so bad, was too bad to believe.
Correct.
I mean, I didn't have this horse on my ticket at all, but you know what? I think that this might be a horse that kind of sneaks in as a B type for me. So, we'll say Lover. We'll say Lover at a price on this one.
Okay. 10-1 on the line. Barry, what say you about him? I liked his form over the mile at Churchill.
Yeah. I think that's his only saving grace here. Yeah. I'm not a lover of this horse, but I'm not a hater. But I do think there's some upside here. This horse ran good last year. Probably needed that race in the Holy Bull, and it was a tough spot. There was some scratches in there, and nearly got the trip of a lifetime. So I can forgive that effort, even though this horse kind of just did the Pepe Le Pew around the track. But I still think that there's some redeeming qualities on this horse. Stretching out might actually do this horse some good. But we'll see. I don't like this horse in particular in this race, but going forward, this horse might be okay, especially if they run an improved race here.
Yeah, I'd hate to think this horse was a flash in the pan in that Street Sense because he was so forceful in passing horses and finishing the way that he did. I would love to see that version of Incredible again, because frankly, we just haven't had a ton of those right in the Derby Trail. And so it would be lovely to see one on Saturday. They're in Virginia, but Incredible again, 10-1. Riley Mott trains there, had an unbelievable 2025. Should be fun to watch him go forward. Preakness winner Jaime Torres picks up the mount. Once again, has been aboard for all 4 of his lifetime races. Confessional comes in off of a similarly disappointing Sam F. Davis. Broke his maiden on first asking at Keeneland at 7 furlongs, Josh. But then tried an optional claimer at Gulfstream. Just kind of hasn't been there yet. You're going to give him a shot on Saturday.
I'm a lover on this one, and I don't know if I'm just getting fooled here, but I mean, that first effort at Keeneland was great. Yeah. And you thought the sky's the limit for this horse. Interestingly, Brad Cox puts him into a race with Lasix. And obviously backs that effort up, runs a nice second in that race. Nearly won that race. Who's a nice horse, and take him off Lasix run. And honestly, that DRF has got that track as kind of a closer type track that day on Sam F. Davis Day. He was up close to the pace and then just kind of faded. So I don't know if it was just a really tiring track, what was going on with there, but the fact that Irad gets aboard here, this is a horse that's been working very, very well, just fired a bullet work. I mean, I think there's something here. And I think that maybe he's just found a soft enough spot where he's going to be able to pick up, 50 points here. So my second choice in this race, I'm a lover here on Confessional.
All right. Confessional for you, Barry Spears.
Yeah, I'm a lover. I mean, I don't think the Lasix was the issue in the Sam Davis. I think it was the blinkers. I don't understand why they took the blinkers off unless they really didn't think that this horse was ready for that. And they saw this race down the line as more of the target than the Sam Davis. And that would make sense given the timing. Getting Irad definitely piques interest. I'm definitely a lover of this horse going forward.
Who's the best essential quality going right now? I'm trying to think about that. I'm trying really, by the way, I'm not trying to be negative, but it's the Puma.
The Puma, yeah.
What I'm getting at is we've already seen the essential qualities get the distance. So the mile and an eighth ain't going to be a thing for him on Saturday for sure. We move on in the our lovers and haters segment. A very important thing that Stockton Mortgage definitely wants to be affiliated with. Oselli will break from the 9. Joe Ramos in to ride for Whit Beckman. Here was aboard on debut for this horse who has yet to break its maiden Barry. What do you make of Oselli in this field?
If I had a door to close right now, I would do it. This is not a horse that I like at all. Sorry.
Shout out to Whit Beckman. Josh, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm against here. No interest whatsoever. Hater.
By the way, we lost Wayne Lucas last year. This is a Wayne Lucas-esque move. Oh, he's a good 3-year-old. I'm going to throw him in a derby. This is some Wayne Lucas bleep, dude. And if Whit's going to step in and fill that role for us here in Kentucky, I'm all about it. I'll take every single random runner that he wants to try and fill these gates. Let's go. I'm in favor of all of it.
Shooters shoot, man.
You're damn right they do. Shoot clockers, but man, who's more of a long shot in here for you guys? The Doug O'Neill trainee in work or Oselli, who's never won a race? Who you got as the longer shot? Who finishes first of those two?
I honestly would take work. I think over Oselli.
Okay, I'm taking Oselli. Yeah.
I love it. All right. What a random, terrible question. All right. The 10 is Clocker's special. Barry and I were just at Clocker's corner. We almost died there in the wind. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Not this time. Second off the bench here. Did break his maiden going 6.5 at Ellis last summer before returning in Oaklawn last time for Rudy Brisset. Josh, what say you about Clocker special? I'm fascinated by this horse.
Yeah, not for me. Although it is a little interesting seeing this horse cut back not cut back, but go to one turn, right? Mm-hmm. It's a fascinating thing about Colonial Downs that they go one turn for 1 1/8. So I wouldn't be surprised if this horse takes a step forward, but to win this race, not for me.
Barry.
See, I have the opposite. I'm a lover of this horse. I like that this horse is lightly raced. I like the fact that they came off the bench running. Usually that means there's another step up in improvement. I hit horses like this all the time. I think this horse has some upside, especially in this race. I think they could get a good trip just being forwardly placed and kind of hanging around. I don't know what this horse is going to finish like, but I think they're going to be much improved. They're training like it, and I think the distance isn't really a concern. I think this horse is flying a little bit under the radar.
All right, so let's get into our picks for the day then, Barry. And I'm going to you first here. You know what? We got another race to talk about, don't we? That's right, Louis.
We sure do.
We'll move on. 2 race 10, closer on the card here at a fun one. Indeed, an optional claimer $50K. Is the claiming price $85,000 the purse? 1 1/16 on the dirt here for horses that have never blah, blah, blah. All right. So in the closer here, Josh, an interesting one, man. McLean's Rook, I think, is really tough in the spot. Where'd you end up landing?
Yeah, I landed, I think, on the 2 short prices in this race, and the 7 McLean's Rook and the 8 Lure Him In. The 8 has got an angle that we've talked about on this show before. Very, very good jockey who, for some reason, is sticking around for the last race. And Blake Pratt has decided, hey, I guess since I'm here, I might as well collect another check. And sits here to ride the 8. You could probably say the same thing for the 6, Freedom Road, where Irad has ridden this horse a couple times before. But, I just really thought that both the 7 and the 8 in this race had a bit of a speed figure advantage over the rest of the group, and just seemed like especially the 7, I thought, just looked like a horse that's just got a bunch of races that absolutely
really good
in this field. So I'm going with the 7 and the 8. The 7 may be my top pick just with the local angle, but I think the 8 Lure Him In makes a ton of sense in here as well.
Yeah, we've got a winner over the track there, but on the turf side of things at Colonial, certainly we've seen McLean's Rook really good at Laurel Park. Barry, where'd you land in the last one?
So, I'm going to reference your statement about the Doug O'Neill shenanigans. I really like the 4 Dr. Ruben M in this race. I don't think this horse has actually run a bad race. I mean, look at the races that this horse performed poorly. One was against Coal Battle, who at that time was on the rise.
Yes, was it? Yeah.
John Hancock and Ono Mighty in the Sam Davis, which was a tough race at that point. Then they went to the synthetic. Clearly, the horse wasn't liking that. And then they got into a tough heat at Keeneland where Gunmetal won that race. That was a pretty tough event. Came off the bench and went into synthetic, which this horse clearly does not want. Went over to Mahoning Valley and ran them off their feet. I think this horse is sitting on a really good race. Another one. Honestly, there's really not much in here. And this horse should stand to get a really good trip. I don't know what kind of price we're going to get. Hopefully it is that 8-1, maybe a little bit higher. But I think this horse has a really good shot to win this race.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, that is a very deep dive into the Mind of Spears handicapping. That was the good Mind of Spears, not the BS one that you get on Fridays. No, not that. Yeah, no, you don't want that crap.
I do have one thing I want to jump in and add real quick. If it's still snowing and or it's just very muddy, I think you do upgrade a horse like the 4 who did freak in the slop last time out.
Yeah,
I actually think there's a couple of bombs in here that you can use if it gets real muddy. I think the 1 Seeking Unity is a horse that's run very, very well in the slop. And then the outside horse, the 9 Power Seeker, another one. I mean, you look at that Tomlinson figure, 435. Now that's a wet, right? There's no snow Tomlinson, unfortunately. So I can't tell you. I can't tell you how he's going to run if it's snowing. But
better Tomlinson, yeah, right.
But I think you can get some nice prices in this last race if we do get him an off track. So just something to keep in mind.
All right, so let's go through your best plays of the day. Josh, we'll go to you first here. A pick 5 starting in race 6. So this is the late pick 5. By the way, really solid takeout on the longer wagers there. Pick 5s are 12%, or excuse me, 15%, and the 12% for the pick 5 and 15% for the pick 6, a non-jackpot there. So a really, really great takeout rates, Josh. They're in both Virginia and Maryland on the pick 5s. A couple wide, you went with the single there in the middle in Dazzling Dame, your best bet of the day.
Yeah, I just really, like I said, I really liked Dazzling Dame in that spot. And honestly, like if you really want to get cute, I wouldn't hate keying around the 1 Queen Azteca in race 7 as well. Rudy Broussette's putting the blinkers on. He's 40% when he puts blinkers on. It's just like an insane gaudy number. So I just think that, maybe there's something there with Queen Azteca. And like I said, you can do something in Queen Azteca and the Dazzling Dame, maybe even just a old pick 1 on Queen Azteca at a good price.
Little pick 1 talk, Barry. Rudy Broussette, of course, rides his own horses during the works in the morning, so he knows when to throw those blinkers on. If they happen to be looking around during workouts, probably going to be looking around when there's people at the track. Barry, your pick 3 here is late in the sequence. Did you price this out? I'm looking at it was about $45?
$30.
$30. Oh, yeah, you singled in the first one. Sorry, yes. And so you're going to go ahead and single in that first race in the 8th with the 3 horse here. Of course, that is Bottle of Rouge in the Oaks. After that, though, a little bit more spreading, but not too much.
Yeah. In the 9th race, I really, honestly, if I'm really going to try to nail this, I'm going to play a 3-10-4 straight for like $20 and try to cold deck this late pick 3. But gotten used to those $3 pick 3s out at Santa Anita.
Yeah.
So I like those plays, but I think there's a way to get around butane. So we're going to do that and go with High Camp, Confessional, and Clocker Special. And then using Steez and Dr. Ruben in the last race. I thought Steez is actually another one that has some upside, is a real a speedy horse, kind of handy, and they can be where they want to be. And I think that horse has a good shot, and we're trying to beat the favorites there in the 9th and 10th. And it might pay okay. We'll see, but we're going to hit it. So we'll definitely see.
Jump in and find out with Barry is what he is saying. That wraps us here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Of course, we'll be back next week. we'll be back next week. And DeSantis tomorrow morning at 10:20 ahead of his own trip to the Virginia Derby. Hey, Matthew, by the way, we love you. I hope everything's great where you are, my friend, and I hope you have a spectacular Saturday there at Colonial Downs. For Barry, for Josh, my name is Louie. This has been the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Have a great night, everybody.